back to the All Things Sports Podcast. As our third segment, we will now be talking about the NFL. And Danny will be telling you about the new general manager hired for the Steelers, Omar Khan. Danny?
Yeah, so it's, you just mentioned, Zach. Obviously, the biggest news of the NFL week, I would say, was the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers have um, hired Omar Khan to replace Kevin Colbert as the new Steelers GM. Um, Kevin Colbert's been at the helm, obviously, for a very, very long time and decided to step back. And Omar Khan is his replacement. So, um, um, Omar Khan has been in the Steelers organization for a long time now. I'm not sure the exact number of years, but he's worked in the front office and he's got a very good relationship with Mike Tomlin, I believe. And his kind of area of expertise is within the salary cap aspect of the NFL front office, I guess. Whenever players, this is reported, but whenever players would like need like their whenever players' contracts would go up, he would be the guy that would negotiate or just was really good with that side of things. So that's a good trait for GM to have. And I like the way I like having him as an in-house hire in some ways because he knows the way the Steelers do things. But at the same time, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this, Zach. At the same time, it just kind of seems like more of the same. And more of the same for the Steelers is good because we always seem to be competitive. We always make things interesting. That's for sure. I mean, we went 8-8 with Mason Rudolph as our quarterback. I mean, that's pretty impressive. But I mean, we've won 3 playoff games in the last 11 years. So I get that wanting to keep things the same because we're always competitive, right? But at what point do you just decide to kind of clean house and start over? Not start over, but just bring in a new piece of the puzzle here. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Zach.
Yeah, I like Omar Khan as in-house. I mean, I don't think they have to go through all that crap with the Rooney Rule. How that is. And I think that I like that he's a salary cap guy. Give me a moment. But yeah, I like that he's a salary cap guy. I think that'll help us whenever if we want to trade for somebody or if somebody's contract's up, like you were saying, that he could help us finagle and actually get people signed. So it'll be interesting to see I could see the Steelers making a run in a couple of years. I mean, if we get some guys and make some trades and sign guys, but it'll be interesting to see. Danny, any final thoughts? Gonna take that as a no. That will be it for the NFL segment, and next we will be talking about the MLB and Pirates talk. And yeah, we will be right back right here on the All Things Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the fourth segment of the All Things Sports Podcast, where we will now be talking about the MLB. We'll first starting off with the Tommy Pham suspension. So to lead off, Tommy Pham has been suspended 3 games. His suspension, I believe, starting today with the game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Tommy Pham is not playing tonight because he I guess got into I guess he had a beef with Jock Peterson over something in their fantasy football league, and he has been suspended for 3 games. Danny, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, as you said, fam, I guess slapped Jock Peterson, and I guess the MLB, I guess player safety is it called, that department, or the commissioner.
Yeah,
They probably
it's the commissioner, I think.
okay. Yeah, thanks, Zach. The commissioner, I think he just probably wanted to set, like a precedent, right? Because it's kind of a head scratching situation for me, just because it just came like super out of the blue. You know what I mean? Like that is one of the last headlines that you would think to be reading, especially involving Tommy Pham and Jock Peterson, two pretty random players in the scheme of things, but. I think he just kind of wanted the commissioner that is wanted to kind of set a precedent and just really kind of illuminate, make people think before they would do something like that again. You know what I mean? I think that's what this suspension is meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. Go ahead.
it's just I don't know. I don't know if I don't know like how severe everything was, but it's just interesting, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we apologize for the quick nature of this segment. We are under a little bit of a time constraint here. So we will be ending the podcast with the UEFA Champions League final that occurred last evening against Liverpool and Real Madrid. We will be right back right here on the All Things Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the final segment of the All Things Sports Podcast, where unfortunately due to time constraints, we will have to speed through this a little bit. So, briefly, the UEFA Champions League final was last night. It was with Liverpool and Real Madrid. The final score was 1-0. Danny, your very brief thoughts on the game, please.
Yeah, I mean, Real Madrid obviously won 1-0, as the Brits would say, but or just not in America, you would say that, but yeah, just real quick, it was, I mean, Courtois was really the story for Real Madrid. I mean, at one point, the shots for Liverpool were 8, and Real Madrid had 0. So, I mean, he played out of his mind. I mean, I thought he was really the difference. And I feel for Liverpool too, man, because they lost the Premier League, right, by narrowly to City just last Sunday, and then to come this close against Real Madrid. I honestly thought they were the better team, and I know like they had different styles. Like Madrid is much more willing to be passive and absorb pressure and then pick their moments to attack, but Liverpool wants to kind of attack constantly. And I thought that they honestly had more chances. They just couldn't quite convert. So I just feel for Liverpool, man.
Okay, and briefly, just to add something before we wrap this up, yeah, and every time Liverpool tried to cross the ball in, Real Madrid, they just played suffocating defense. I think Liverpool dominated early, and I think Madrid was the better team. So yeah, that will unfortunately do it again. We apologize. We are only controlling our controllables here. So that will be it for today's episode. We will be back at some point this week, I'm sure. We do not have a set schedule anymore, so thanks for watching and listening, and we will see you next time right here on the All Things Sports Podcast.